relationships. You know, one of the biggest topics that MLP, FIM, My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, has faced almost since its beginning is could relationships work in the show? Now, I'm of sound mind and body that if written correctly and done right, that, yeah, I think relationships could work. We've pretty much, in a sense, already seen that the creative staff is kind of testing the waters already by putting a semi-established character in Big Mac in a relationship with a, I guess, up-and-coming semi-established character like Sugar Belle. So, I guess by doing that, like I said, they're starting to test the waters to see if maybe relationships, if written correctly and done correctly, can work. But then that brings us to our main group of heroines and heroes, if you will. Ever since the beginning, it's been hinted at that relationships are possible, are plausible, if you will. They are plausible, possible, whatever you want to call it, and that if done correctly, could actually work. One of the biggest examples, of course, is a pairing that I actually ship and support, and that is Spike and Rarity. One, because like I argue, we don't really know the age of Spike. We really don't. He could be about the same age as Rarity and all of them. It's just that, just like Ember, he's just small for his size. Just saying. But he could be around the same age, if not about the same age, or a little younger, maybe by a year or so, than Rarity. But getting back on point here. We've seen relationships be teased and all that, especially starting with these two. Heck, Lauren Faust even co-wrote or helped develop an episode in the second season pretty much dedicated to this relationship, in a sense, in Secret of My Excess. Why do I say that? Why do I bring that up? Because in Secret of My Excess, Spike, towards the end, finally, in a sense, started to admit how he felt about Rarity. But, in a surprising turn, Rarity doesn't let him finish saying it because, with tears in her eyes, she acknowledges she's already known. Yeah, Rarity is already known this whole time. She's already known this whole time. Now, again, I'm not saying that relationships... Now, what I'm trying to say is, I'm not saying that relationships, romantic-wise, if you will, should be front and center for the show. It shouldn't be. The show is primarily known as friendship. It's primarily known for its friendship theme from beginning to the upcoming end, whenever that would be. But, again, relationships have been a huge topic, in a sense, when it comes to the show. And it comes to primarily the main seven, in a sense. I mean, you don't believe me, there's quite a few examples of people pointing that out. You know, for example, you think Spike and Rarity is the beginning. The teasing of potential relationships romantically, if you will, or romantically or attractively, continues on with the other characters. Heck, Rainbow Dash is a good example, believe it or not. Why? Because the very first male character that she crushed on, in a sense, right at the end, if you will, of the first season was Soren. Why? Well, because I guess she grew up with Soren, but Soren was also part of the Wonderbolts. But I guess you could say she kind of saw some similarities with him. And that he was willing to accept her for who she was as a friend. So you have some of that put into play. There you go. But then you come as recent as season 7 and you throw in another possibility for a romantic love interest in a legendary pillar known as Flash Magnus. How that would work is anybody's guess. But some people would say, well, they have similar tastes and all that, or they have a similar personality, and that could work. It really could. But then you take a look at the other ones out there. Pinkie Pie and Cheese Sandwich, people have said could really work because they're very similar. They really work off each other. Which is true. You also have Applejack and Tenderhoof, or that other male character from Appaloosa. And people say that pretty much could work as well, depending on who you would go with, or tease with, or even hint at. And then you got Fluttershy and Discord, which, yeah, that's kind of unusual in its own right, but if you're going to pair someone like Fluttershy with any other creature or pony, then Discord's probably a good choice. But then you get to Twilight, and here's where it gets interesting. Twilight, so far, has never been really shown to have any kind of romantic interest. But then you take a look at Equestria Girls, and you possibly also look at some of the episodes of Friendship is Magic, and it's pretty much been teased that she has kind of an attraction to a head guard named Flash Sentry. Which is ironic because when you do the Equestria Girls thing, Flash Sentry is a human that's attracted to her, even though he doesn't know until maybe the very end of Equestria Girls or what have you, that she is indeed a pony, and that, dude, you're attracted to a freaking pony. I'm just saying. But again, the question is, could relationships work? Like I said, and I know I sound repetitive here, like I said, they can work. If the story is done right, and the development is done right, then yeah, it can indeed work. I came on here on my YouTube channel, and I discussed the fact that either with Spike and Rarity, you either need to make it official by at least season 9, the final season, or just drop it entirely. Do something to where there's an understanding that, yeah, there's an attraction, but there's a big difference. Somewhere, and go from there. But what's funny is someone came up, I think it was Mega Sean, came up with an idea where they do an episode in season 9 where this new kind of pony or whatever comes into Spike's life, and it's like Rarity feels threatened that she might lose her little helper, but at the same time, she does what she can to, get him back on her side, but at the same time kind of realizes, that maybe there's something there between her and Spike that she's never really realized until now, that maybe that crush is more than a crush. You get what I'm saying? So, yeah, people have already come up with ideas for the last season of how to address it. But overall, I think honestly, if you're finally going to make romantic relationships canon, or at least acknowledged, season 9 is definitely the season to do it in. It is. Because like I said in previous videos, you can finally address a lot of theories and speculations fans have had. You can answer a lot of questions fans have been wanting answered. But at the same time, if you want to finally explore romantic relationships and kind of get back to what originally the core of the show was supposed to be like in some people's eyes, then season 9 would probably be the best opportunity to do some kind of romantic relationships, or at least acknowledge romantic relationships or attractions. That would definitely be the best time to finally acknowledge that, hey, maybe there's something there between Pinkie and Cheese Sandwich. Maybe to acknowledge finally that there's something there between Rainbow Dash and Soren, or Rainbow Dash and Flash Magnus. That there's something there between Twilight and the pony version of Flash Sentry. That there's something there between Fluttershy and Discord, even though it's pretty much official in some people's eyes already. As well as Applejack and Tenderhoof, or whoever that other pony was from Appaloosa. The point is, season 9, if it's indeed the final season, opens the door for romantic acknowledgement or relationships for romantic relationships to be at least acknowledged in some form or fashion. Like some kind of attraction, mutual attraction between characters needs to finally be acknowledged. Because, like I've said before, season 9 needs to be the fan season. It needs to be a season about the fans. And this is one way you can make it about the fans. To finally address and acknowledge a romantic or mutual attractive relationships between characters. Spike and Rarity, Dash and Soren or Dash and Magnus, Pinky and Cheese Sandwich, Twilight and Flash if you want to do that, Applejack, Tenderhoof, or whoever that other pony was in Appaloosa, and of course, Fluttershy and Discord. I think it could work. I think season 9 being the final season opens that door. But we'll just have to wait and see. But let me know what you guys think. Do you think the final season, season 9 potentially, is the moment to where they could finally address romantic or mutual attractive relationships between characters? Let me know what you guys think down below. Comment if you like. I am out.